What do you think about D-Hop's suspension? Makes sense. Why the Hollywood Brown now? I don't get the Hollywood Brown move at all. Hollywood Brown is one of the most overrated wide receivers in National Football League. I just don't get it. The guy runs straight down the field. He can't catch a pass. Okay, so this guy's drop issues. He basically just runs straight down the field. He's short, so it's not like he can go up and high point the football. He's not going to bail Kyler Murray out. And that's really it. He's not a great route runner. He's okay. And I mean, everyone blames Lamar Jackson's throwing ability for Hollywood Brown, but I'm like, how about let's blame Hollywood Brown for the reason that it took a 66-yarder to beat the Detroit Lions in Detroit. He dropped like 3 touchdowns in that game. Like, this is somebody that has his own issues. I mean, Hollywood Brown asked for the trade. I don't know why. Congrats. You left. I don't get it. I really don't get it. He's a one-trick pony. I will never understand that pick. I'll never understand that trade. It just tells me that Kyler Murray has the Arizona Cardinals by the balls, essentially. It has nothing to do with the D-Hop suspension. Kyler Murray has the Arizona Cardinals by the balls. He played in school with Marquise Brown. It's not out of the equation that he's the main reason they got him. I think it's very obvious. And I think he just basically was like, you know what? I won't sign if you don't get him. Or you better get him. I'm not saying I won't sign. I'm not saying you might need to trade me, but you might want to get him. Here's my thing. This is my big hot take, and you guys probably have already seen it if you're on Twitter. But let me just say this. The Cardinals are about to hit the basement of the NFC West again, hard. And Cardinals fans don't want to admit it. But what did this team do? Their draft was not good. I thought they had by far one of the worst drafts of the year. I mean, I wasn't a big fan at all. I was not a big fan of their draft at all. Here's my thing with Arizona. I feel like Arizona is just kind of like they're thinking it's like given. Like, oh, well, we've already proven. We got to the playoffs, we'll be back next year. And like forgetting that like Seattle got better. Like Seattle, I know they lost Russell Wilson, but that roster is not bad. The 49ers are still the 49ers. Banking on Trey Lance to bust is not a good bet. And the Rams are the Super Bowl reigning champions, and I would argue they're as good, if not better, than last year. So if you're Arizona here, you're sitting here and your draft was getting Cameron Thomas in the 3rd round, I can't even believe Majai Sanders in the 3rd. Like, they got Lucada. Their best picks. Arizona's best picks were in the 6th and 7th when they got Jesse Lucada in the 7th and they got Lecitus Smith in the 6th. But I mean, aside from that, you spent a 1st-round pick to get Hollywood Brown. I just can't comprehend why you would do such a thing. I don't care about the fact, oh, well, Kyler Murray and him have this connection. That's great. That's so great. You're going to really go there? You're really going to go there. You're going to pin this on Lamar Jackson? Are you going to say that Lamar Jackson is the reason that Marquise Brown hasn't reached his potential? Like, are you freaking kidding me? How much better is he going to be in Arizona? Lamar Jackson was a unanimous MVP in 2019. How much better is it going to be in Arizona? I can tell you this right now. Marquise Brown has literally had 1,000-yard season, which he had by 9 yards. He got 1,000 yards by 9 yards. The other seasons, 2020, 769 yards. 769. He had 8 touchdowns. He had 6 last year, was a career low. That's probably why he wants out of Baltimore, because Lamar Jackson can win without him. They don't need him. They got Rashad Bateman. Get out of here. They got Devin Duvernay. They got Prochet. They They don't need him. Tylan Wallace is right around the corner. He was like a 4th-round pick in 2020. They don't need him. This trade was awful. They gave up the same amount that the Eagles gave up to get A.J. Brown, who is astronomically better in every way. And you look at this and you're like, wait, Marquise Brown had 1,000-yard season in his 3-year career? Wait, you mean to tell me the year Lamar Jackson won the MVP, he only threw the ball 71 times to Marquise Brown? Marquise Brown only had 584 receiving yards. He had 769 the year later, and then he had 1,000, barely over 1,000, on 91 receptions? Really? I'm just saying, I think this guy is incredibly overrated. I don't get it. Like, the Cardinals put all their eggs in this proverbial basket for Marquise Brown and Kyler Murray. At this point, I'd be done with both of them. I wouldn't have traded for Brown, and I would have just traded away Murray. Like I said, like the hot take of the year for me, Cardinals are going to be in the basement of the NFC West. It's going to happen. I'm telling you right now. They did not get much better. They didn't add anybody. I'm not really overly impressed with their... I mean, look. They still got A.J. Green, okay? So, I mean, he's over the hill. They have a talented player in Antoine Wesley. Has familiarity with, their coach and Cliff Kingsbury. Marquise Brown, I think, is a good player. I think he's incredibly overrated, but he's a good player. Rondale Moore, I like a lot. And, I mean, they have Hopkins when, 10 games? Because he's going to get suspended for, like, the first 7. They added Trey McBride. That made no sense, too. You have actual needs, and then you pick a tight end in the 2nd round with the first pick of your draft? Are you freaking kidding me? I mean, like, I love how they get J.J. Watt, and they just assume that because they got J.J. Watt by name, they're going to have an elite pass rush. I just don't get it. Like, the Cardinals took that 1 year of being like an actual thorn in the Rams' side, of being a potential playoff contender, Super Bowl contender, and they didn't even survive the full year because they fell off at the end of the year. Here's what we know about the Cardinals. They're not going to have Hopkins until like week 7. Okay? That's not good. That doesn't bode well for them. So they're not going to have Hopkins until like week 7. We already saw Kyler Murray when we don't have Hopkins. Okay? That's not very good. Marquise Brown, first off, I mean, he's good, but like they trade away a 1st-round pick. So now a 1st-round pick will not be on the field, but hey, at least you have Marquise Brown. You didn't know how to use Rondale Moore last year. We'll see if you figure that out. A.J. Green's over the hill. We've already seen that. Last year, he had his moments, but he's not A.J. Green of old. And then the tight end position, oh, congrats. You have Ertz, and you went out and you got a tight end in the 2nd round. For no reason. They did not need to do that. What we do know is that their edge is not very good. They have an aging, or a little bit older, Marcus Golden, who I do like, and they have Devin Kennard. Okay? Like, this team could have used an upgrade. I don't feel like Arizona... I don't feel like they got better. I just don't. And Kyler Murray has yet to prove in his time in the league that he can actually play a full season. Because every single point and I've been a Kyler Murray, fan. I've rooted for him, not against the Rams, but I've rooted for him. I liked him until he had that whole me, not we BS that came out about him getting paid after losing 34-11 in the playoffs. And let's be honest here, his play craters after every single season. Like at the end of every season, his play goes like he's amazing, MVP caliber up here, and then when it gets over here, he's like down here. His play craters every single end of every single season. Down the stretch, when it's important, Stafford rose to the occasion. Kyler Murray he cratered. So that is my biggest issue with the Cardinals. Then I look at Seattle, and I feel like right now I'm Keyshawn Johnson because I know like Seattle was going to win the division. I know that's what he said. And I don't think Seattle's going to win the division. I don't love Seattle. So before anybody that's in here says that I'm being a Seattle homer, I'm not a Seattle fan. Notice the Rams stuff in the background. Anyway, Seattle goes out and they get Charles Cross. Yeah, it might have been a little too late, right? You trade away Russell Wilson. Now you realize, oh, we should probably actually protect the quarterback. Okay, whatever. Well, they get Charles Cross. Really good talent. Bookend left tackle of the future. Good job. They get Abraham Lucas in the 3rd round. Okay. I think a plug and play right tackle. Okay. You look at right guard. They have, Gabe. They have Gabe Jackson. Center, they sign Austin Blythe. Left guard, they have a stud in Damian Lewis out of LSU. Offensive line, for the first time in a long time, is a check mark for Seattle. Their receivers, DK Metcalf. They have Tyler Lockett. They have Freddie Swain. They go out and they get Dwayne Eskridge last year. Okay, he wasn't really able to play most of last year, but I think he's going to have a much better season this year. They go out and they get Bo Melton in the 7th round. It's like people thought Bo Melton, being from Rutgers was the reason that he should fall all the way down the boards. Bo Melton was a top 5, he was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school. Like big-time schools recruited him. He's not just some nobody. So they got a really good player in Bo Melton. Then you look at tight end, they got Noah Fant from that trade. So that's great. Drew Lock, I love how we've already decided he's a bust. It's like, oh yeah, well, Denver definitely knows how to do well with quarterbacks. I mean, they have Peyton Manning. Oh wait, that's right. They don't do well with quarterbacks. Denver has proven they can't develop quarterbacks. They couldn't do it with Osweiler. They couldn't do it with Drew Lock. They can't develop quarterbacks. Okay? They haven't done it since, John Elway. Okay? They had Jay Cutler and they traded him. They can't develop quarterbacks. So I don't know why we're blaming Drew Lock when he's coming from an organization that has proven that they can't develop quarterbacks. It's just proven. It is a fact that Denver hasn't been able to develop quarterbacks. So now Drew Lock goes to Seattle, who, by the way, did develop Russell Wilson, to be fair. And Lock now has all of these weapons. He's got all this protection. They go out and they get Kenneth Walker III, who's the best running back in the draft. So you add him, and then the defense, I mean, I don't think it's the greatest defense ever, but they had Shelby Harris, who's a bona fide leader in that locker room from Denver from the trade. They have LJ Collier, who's a first-round pick from 2019. They have Poona Ford, who's a monster in the interior. They have Quentin Jefferson, who was a monster for them, went over to Vegas, and now he's back in Seattle. I think Al Woods is a pretty good rotational defensive lineman. They draft Boy Mafe out of Minnesota in the 2nd round. They have Jordan Brooks, a first-round talent. Cody Barton's an athletic linebacker, 3rd-round talent from 2019. They go out and they get Uchenna Nwosu in free agency from the Chargers. They have Trey Brown. They have Justin Coleman. They have Sidney Jones, who's playing really well down the stretch. They had Kobe Bryant and Tariq Woolen, 2 corners I guarantee you at home wanted. And on top of that, they have Quandre Diggs and Jamal Adams. Jamal Adams might be a meme, but he's still a good player. And Quandre Diggs is an all-pro. So at the end of the day, are you willing to tell me right now that the Cardinals, despite the fact that, okay, they made the playoffs last year, and oh yeah, they have Kyler Murray, and oh, by the way, they got JJ Watt and AJ Green. Are you willing to tell me right now, especially after the suspension of DeAndre Hopkins, are you willing to tell me right now that the Cardinals are definitely better on paper than Seattle? Because I don't think they are. I think Seattle's the better team. And right around this point last year, I was telling you why Seattle was going to fall off a cliff, and why they're not a playoff team, and why they're going to go 7-10, and they did. I seem to have a hold on Seattle, and I'm going to say right now, I don't think Seattle's going to be great. But if Drew Lock is average, Seattle is going to roast the Arizona Cardinals over an open fire, and the Cardinals are going to be in the bottom of this division. Look at who they have to play next year. Look, the Cardinals. This is another thing that's not pointed out enough. Guess who came in 2nd? Okay? Take a guess who came in 2nd. Think about this. I'm going to look up their schedule or who they're going to play in 2022. But hint, the Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals next year, okay? Arizona Cardinals are going to have to play. I mean, this is crazy. They're going to have to play the Rams twice. They play the 49ers twice. They play the Seahawks twice. I could see them going 0-6 in that. I could see them going 2-4. Okay. They have to play the Saints, the Buccaneers, the Chiefs, the Chargers. Okay, they play the Falcons and Panthers. The Broncos, the Raiders, the Patriots, the Eagles, the Vikings. Where are the wins on this schedule? Where are the wins on this schedule for the Cardinals? Where? How many games is this team even winning? Like, for real. I understand the Cardinals aren't just going to be like, oh, like, they're not going to win any games. They still have talent. I'm not saying they don't, but, like, who are they beating? They beat the Rams on some fluke game earlier in the season. But, I mean, are they beating the Chiefs? They're going to US Bank Stadium to play the Vikings. I think the Vikings are the sleeper team that no one's talking about. The Eagles? Do you know how good the Eagles look right now? Getting A.J. Brown, getting Jordan Davis in the draft. I like what the Eagles did. The Patriots, I mean, maybe they beat the Patriots. Seattle, they might split one of them. I don't think they're beating the Rams either time they face them. They can't beat them at home, and then the one time they beat them at SoFi, I mean, you think that they're going to beat them again? San Francisco? Really? Oh, how about this one? This one's my favorite. Empower Field at Mile High. You think that they're going to go to Denver and beat Russell Wilson, who they notoriously don't play well against? The new and improved Broncos? Okay, they beat the Falcons, sure. They beat the Carolina Panthers. They're going to beat the Chargers? Are you kidding me? Have you seen the defense? You think the Cardinals are going to beat that team? Kansas City? Oh yeah, Tampa. Yeah, they're going to beat Tom Brady. I'm sure about that one. Good one. The Saints. Maybe? I mean, I just don't... The Cardinals are that team that could literally fall right off a cliff. Like, they could look really bad next year. I mean, it could be bad. I spent a lot on this question. I do apologize, but it's been on my mind. I just don't... What is the appeal with Arizona? What is the appeal? I mean, I just don't feel like they have a good front office. They're letting their quarterback hold them over an open fire. And, I mean, their rosters, at the end of the day, I mean... I will clip this rant. I promise you that. But, like, what am I missing? Can somebody, like, tell me what I'm missing with the Arizona Cardinals? I had the same thing with the Seahawks last year. It's really weird. I, like, kept seeing all these people talking about the Seahawks. And I was like, why? Because Russell Wilson? Like, this team is not going to... Like, you guys can't protect him. And now here I am. I'm saying the same thing. Not that they can't protect Kyler Murray. I think they can protect Kyler Murray. I think that their offensive line's pretty good. But I just... I don't know, man. What I see is that Arizona's going to come in last place in the FC West. I see a ridiculous road ahead, having to play the Rams, the 49ers, the Seahawks all twice, the Chiefs, Chargers, Buccaneers, the Eagles, the Vikings, the Saints. I see the Broncos, the two winnable games that they have, the two most winnable games they have, Falcons and Panthers. And, like, we don't know. Are the Panthers going to be for real? Like, are they just going to come out of the blue and shock everybody? Are the Falcons going to come out of the blue? Should I even be writing off the Falcons? We don't know. But those are the two games where I look at them and I'm like, Arizona should win those. Everyone else, I mean, like, maybe they split one against Seattle. But think about this. Seattle has the better running backs. They have the better wide receivers. They have the better tight end. Sorry, Noah Fant's better than both tight ends. I don't care that you have two good ones. Noah Fant is better than both. He's better than Ertz, and he's better than a guy that hasn't played down in the NFL and Trey McBride. Okay, moving on. Seattle has the better offensive line. Wow, I can't believe I just said that. Times have changed. Seattle is the better interior defensive line. Oh, we have J.J. Watt. Congrats. He's like a $15 million paperweight. What do you want? Linebackers, I'll give the edge to Arizona for sure because, I mean, you got Isaiah Simmons and Zaven Collins. Definitely Arizona there. Edge, I'll go with Seattle. I mean, they got talent there. They just had Boy Mafe. I like Seattle's talent there. And then, corners, I mean, it's kind of a stalemate here, but I think Seattle added a lot more in the draft. I mean, going out and getting Kobe Bryant and Tariq Woolen, I mean, I think that's going to be huge. Safeties, come on. Buda Baker's great. Okay, I like Jalen Thompson for what he is. But Cardinals fans are trying to tell me they have better safeties than the Seahawks do. The Seahawks have 2 all-pro safeties. Like, the Seahawks probably have the best safeties in the division. As much as we love the Rams safeties, you would take Quandre Diggs and Jamal Adams. Like, let's not kid ourselves. Again, I know Jamal Adams has become a meme, but... So, again, to the Cardinals, why? Like, oh, yeah, the Cardinals, I have them going to the Super... Why on earth do you have them going to the Super Bowl? Why? What are you seeing from this team? You got a quarterback and a head coach that notoriously fall off when it matters the most. And the team is the least talented team in their division. I just don't get it. Like, what are you seeing that I'm not?